Hello friends, this is Raj Sastry from Raj Option Trading. Today is May 19th, 2021. We'll talk about basic material stocks. With that, I got a couple images here. First is CSN, ticker symbol SID. It's a great stock. Then we got Nucor, great steel company. And last but not least, Vale, again a great stock. So with that, let's look at sectors which are doing well and not so well and jump into the basic material stocks. So from a sector performance perspective, clearly if you look at 1 month time frame here, basic material has done nicely and so did energy and financial services. But technology and utilities and even healthcare, consumer cyclicals, consumer communication services, they all lag the market. And if you go into 3 month time frame, I think basic material did nicely, whereas technology, as you can see here, lagged the market, and so did consumer cyclical. If you go to a 6 month time frame, again, basic material did nicely, and so did energy and financial services. If you go to a 1 year time frame, still basic material did nicely, whereas you got other sectors, like consumer cyclical, financial services, and industrials also did very well. If you go to 5 year time frame, still basic material did nicely, and sectors like technology, industrials, healthcare, they also did nicely in addition to consumer cyclical. So the thumb line is really when the market is doing great or not. Historically, basic materials have kind of kept up with the market, even though they have got some boom bust cycles as we call it. So with that, if you look at basic materials, we got stocks like BHP, Linde, Rio Tinto, Vale, and so on and so forth. They did nicely. But if you look at technology, stocks like Apple, Microsoft, Taiwan Semi, Nvidia, they all kind of lag the market. And if you look at utilities here, same story in a 1 month time frame. NextEra Energy, Duke, Southern, they all lagged the market. And so did consumer cyclical names like Amazon, Alibaba, Home Depot. They also lagged the market in 1 month time frame. And communication services stocks like Google, Facebook, Disney, Comcast, they also lagged the market. So in a nutshell, right now what's working, basic materials is one of the sectors which is working right now. I think this way, let's see what are the good stock in the basic materials and see if it's worth investing. Let's jump into stocks at this point. So this is a large cap stocks. The way this chart is organized, I got ticker symbol here, and I also have market cap, the sales and sales performance, both from a 1 year perspective and quarter over quarter perspective, and gross margin. And I also have performance all the way from 1 day to 1 year. And I also track how much it's fallen off from 52-week high. So typically the way I look at it is really I look at the performance itself, how is 1 year sales growth doing and how is quarter over quarter growth doing. And coupled with a good gross margin, I want to make sure sales growth is good and gross margin is also good. Those two are the recipe for success. I want to make sure if both are good, that's a good recipe for success. And then we can look at other things like price to sales ratio. How is it doing from valuation perspective? And we can also look at things like float and also look at institutional ownership. So with that, let's look at the top company here, SID, and this, $8 stock, very low price stock. It's fallen off 14% from 52-week high. Very nice sales growth. I love this sales growth, as you can see here. Very good gross margin. And at this point, institutions are owning this stock too much. That's why very low institutional ownership and low short float, meaning, there is no short seller breathing down the neck. And even price to sales ratio is low from a valuation perspective. It's still at a low valuation. And if you look at the performance here, it's done nicely for 1 year, did nicely for 6 months and 3 months and 1 month. Off late, it's kind of fallen off a little bit. So this is why stocks like this, when they are kind of falling off, you can wait a little bit and see if it shows some signs of progress, and then you can jump in, buy some. Don't buy a whole lot. Buy a little bit at a time, so that way you give yourself some room to buy more. Next is Freeport. Freeport is again a famous company. They're into gold and copper, $40 stock. I've seen this stock, in single digits a couple of years ago. Stock has come a long way. As you can see, a nice sales growth here and good gross margin. Not as good as SID, but it's okay. And institutions are owning a lot of shares of Freeport, and they got nice 1 year growth, 344%, very nice growth. And if you see performance here, they did very well from 6 month 1 year, 6 month, all the way to 1 month. Off late from 2 week, 1 week, 1 day, they're a little bit falling off. So this is why, as it falls off a little more, then you can buy a little bit and take it from there. And you can go through this, as you scan through this, you can see as you scan through the gross margin here, look at the stocks with the nice gross margin. For example, here you got Whale, 57% gross margin and still nice sales growth. That's a good one to pick up, $21 stock. And they've done nicely, 154%. And as you scan through here, there are a couple other companies here, CX, VEDL, Vedanta. I think this also did nicely. And we got, here SPSW that also has got good gross margin. And so is Southern Copper. And as you scan through, we got one more here, CTV, Cortiva, nice gross margin. And even SQM also has good gross margin. I would pick up stocks with the nice sales growth and good gross margin. All of the stocks here have got nice sales growth, but some of them have got nice gross margin, some of them a little lower. For example, ArcelorMittal, MT, gross margin is 0. And they're also a little bit struggling from a quarter-over-quarter growth and 1 year growth perspective. A little bit weaker of the candidates, as you can see here. I would pick up stocks with good sales growth as well as gross margin. For example, stocks like here Whale is a good one, and even stocks like SID, FCX, and CX and BEDL. So with that, let's look at next set of stocks. I mean, the way this is organized is I got 1 year sales here. The one at the top, SID, has got 1 year performance. I mean, 1 year performance is very nice here. From there, it's a descending order, as you can see here. Next, we got a couple more large cap stocks. And these have done okay, but not as good as previous chart or previous slide. We got Rio Tinto on top here with the 79% performance in 1 year, and they got okay sales growth here, not great sales growth, but nice gross margin. I'll take that nice gross margin. And then you got DD, DuPont. DuPont has got a nice, let's see, not so nice sales growth. They're okay with the gross margin. Same story with BHP. They got a little bit issue with the sales growth here, 0 gross margin. But stocks highlighted here with the bold here, they got nice sales growth, as you can see in many cases, and they also have a good gross margin. I would pick up the ones with the good sales growth and gross margin. Stocks like Rio, Avantor, Lindy. I think they got a little trouble here with the 1 year sales growth, but they're picking up in the quarter over quarter. This is a good stock. I would buy this into this weakness. And so is Sherwin-Williams. This is a rocket ship. It always goes up. Great stock. I would buy this into any pullback. And then we got a couple of these gold stocks here, Newmont and AEM, KL, all great stocks. I would buy them on any pullback. Kirkland, I think this did very nicely last year. I would buy this also on any pullback. And we got ECL, Wheaton. These are all even gold. Gold is one of my favorites here. They've not done great, as you can see. They've pulled back a little bit this year. I would buy this on this weakness and hold it for a long time. Now we got mid-cap stocks here, starting from Alcoa. I'm sure many of you remember Alcoa was kicked out of Dow Jones Industrial Average a while ago because they were not performing well at all. But now you see here they've done very nicely, 363% in 1 year. So that's where some of these stocks will shine in these type of situations. Because Alcoa goes into all types of vehicles because of their lightweight. I think this is a great stock. Only thing is, they've run up so much for 1 year. I would probably buy slowly. I think they're down 18% from 52-week high. I will buy slowly. I will not be buying in rush. Sometimes it's not a good idea to buy stocks when they're up so much. You should buy slowly and add to your position. As you can see, we got Cleveland-Cliffs here. Same story, very low dollar stock here. They've done tremendously well. So nice sales performance here, and they also have a okay gross margin, not great gross margin. As you scan through this, we got here uh, AMRS, nice gross margin. I love this gross margin and good sales growth. I would pick up some stocks like this. Only thing is here with the Amyris, we got high short float. This means I think they're already in a short squeeze. As you can see here, they've done nicely for 1 year, 1 week. So probably shorts are getting squeezed at this point. And as you scan through, we got one more here, Cleveland-Cliff, high short float. Right now, they're not into short squeeze yet. So if you buy slowly, you might get some benefit when the short squeeze comes into play. As you scan through this, you can look at a couple more here. Gross margin perspective, TRQ Turquoise, nice gross margin. And as you scan through here, we got one more ESI, also great gross margin. I would pick up some of these strong candidates with both nice sales growth and gross margin. And gross margin will tell you how much they can really save after all the, I think that it's good to have, both gross margin, nice gross margin as well as sales growth. That's good recipe for success. So with that, let's look at a couple more here. Now this is again continuation of mid-cap stocks. As you can see here, 1 year 52% for Axalta. It's again a good stock into painting. And their sales growth is not nice from a 1 year perspective, and they've done nicely for quarter over quarter. As you scan through here, we got BVN. They've done nicely from a sales growth perspective, quarter over quarter. Gross margin not that great. Pan American, I think they got a good gross margin, but sales growth is not huge. So I think if you pick up, like stocks like KGC as an example, they got nice sales growth here, and they also have a good gross margin. Same story with EGO, Eldorado Gold, nice sales growth, nice gross margin. That's where you can really make some money in the long term. And let's look at one more here. We got small cap stocks here. Many of you like small cap stocks. Even I love small cap stocks because they give you huge outperformance. On the top, you got Alto Ingredients, $5 stock. And as you can see here, this has done tremendously well, 1267. But as you scan through here, it's got a high short float. So as you can see, it's also getting shorts are getting squeezed a little bit. That's why stock is shooting up. With the low dollar stocks like Alto, this can be many times manipulated easily. And there'll be short sellers, and there'll be people who want to take benefit and advantage. So it gets manipulated at times. And then you got Resolute, $15 stock. Nice sales growth and very good gross margin also. Done nicely. I think it's also low dollar stock, $15. And as you scan through, you got Timken Steel, Great Plains. These two, I think they don't have great sales growth. Okay gross margin, so it's okay for speculation, but not great from a gross margin perspective and sales perspective. But if you look at Endeavor Silver, I think this is a great one. They've got nice gross margin, nice sales growth, and nice gross margin. And say so is stock like Ferro. I think they also have a sales growth. I think 1 year is not great, but good from a quarter over quarter, nice gross margin. And even Fortuna Silver, they've done very nicely, very good sales growth here, and nice gross margin. And so is Silver Corp. I think they've done nicely. Only thing is their performance 1 year is not that huge, but still okay. I mean, it's not negative. It's doing pretty okay. So with that, next we'll jump into, yeah, I think we kind of covered the small caps. Now we'll conclude. Thank you very much. Happy investing and trading. Please subscribe. Thanks.